So I'm going to kick things off here by talking about how many people here use or know about the new package manager in Emacs. Okay, this is a couple people. So in Emacs, let me make this. What was that?
Can you say which one is the new one? Which one is the old one?
What is the old one? Was there an old one?
Package.el.
That's the new one.
That's the new one. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that new.
Oh, there's a newer one?
No, there isn't. But it's like 5 years old already.
Oh.
I mean, I remember.
On the mailing list, RMS doesn't use package.el, so I just thought it was newer than. I don't know when he picks up.
There's a new macro use package that's really helpful.
Use package. Actually, that's a good point.
I nominate you to give the next slide.
Yeah, so I'm just going to talk about this. For people who have things they want to talk about in their .emacs, can you like raise your hand? Like, did you want to talk about like use package? Yeah. And then.
I mean, everything's in .emacs.
Okay.
What would you talk about that wouldn't be
I guess it's more like. I mean, yeah, that's kind of the point where it's like just all your E-list.
You can show the KeyCord thing.
Oh yeah, the KeyCord thing, cool. And then so we'll go me, you, and the person in the back, and then we'll start picking more people. But yeah, so I just wrote. So package.el is really, really helpful. The one big issue I had with it was that what was that? Oh, all right, sorry. I thought that was a question. The one issue I had with it was that when you started a new like Emacs, there's no way to say, or at least no way I could find, of specifying what your packages are and then telling it to download them like at startup if they don't exist. So has anyone here found a way to do that?
Say it again.
So a way when you install your .emacs files on a new computer.
Auto install.
Yeah, to auto install your packages. Did you all write your own?
No, it exists.
Okay.
It exists.
Okay, so this is why we're doing this. I had no idea about Cask, and I wrote my own. So I'm just going to go over what I did.
What is Cask?
Yeah, what is Cask?
Cask is like a requirements file. It tells you all the packages you want, and it just downloads it for you.
Okay, so it's like a requirements file.
It's like a Python requirements file or
Yeah.
a build file.
Separate from Emacs.
There's also a tool on top of it called Palette.
Palette?
Which will also, if you install a package, manually, it'll add that to your Cask file automatically. So that's really cool.
Cool.
Use
So-
package can also.
When I talk about use package, that's one of the options.
Oh.
Install. Okay, it's not that hard. Like you don't need to.
So,
We get package signing like
Depends how many you have.
I think someone,
Yeah, like 30.
I think we got HTTPS. That's like recently. I saw it on the mailing list. But yeah, so what I did, I was like, hey, maybe I can just hack this up. And in my .emacs,
Yeah, that's what I do.
yeah, I just have a list of all the things that, that I want to always exist when I pull down Emacs. And
Wow, that's complicated looking.
yeah, actually, can I make it slightly smaller? This is way too big.
Yeah.
I mean, I got one that's
Yeah.
probably my menu.
And I can just talk about what this does. So what I do first is I call package initialize, and if you pass in T as the first argument, it doesn't actually load any of the packages. And so what this is doing, first, it just creates a list of all the packages you have right now. And then there are some recent changes to package.el that broke that. And so I have this hotfix here that like redefines this function to take out like some function that like wasn't working for my use case, which is pretty hacky. And then I call Sammer get packages, which this is best practice. You always want to like put a namespace in front of your functions. I don't know if any of you all have like broken your Emacs by defining like sort, and then suddenly nothing works. I've done that. Don't define sort. And get packages is pretty simple. All I do is I have this like refreshed list. Actually, I don't remember what this does, so I'm just going to read it out. And I'm just going through the packages list that I defined, or that I passed in over here. So it doesn't rely on globals, which is another good thing. And I just go through it and I say if it's not installed, and I don't actually remember what refresh does, but then what?
What's the latest stuff?
Oh, okay. So if I have never refreshed, I do a single one, and then I just install the package, and I decrement packages list. And this was before I learned about this one function, do list, which is very, very cool. Do list. And do list is like a macro that encapsulates the pattern of like while there's something on there's something in packages list, and then at the very end you need to remember to put something off. Yo.
Okay, so always do list nicer, always do list nicer than Maps.
What is MapC? I don't know what it is.
MapC.
Oh, the
Careless binds that symbol to the arg that you give it, and so you can then like use it inside the code.
yeah.
So MapC implies that you care about the return value, and DoList implies that you're using it for side effects.
Yeah.
It's sort of a semantic.
Okay.
MapC is the one which.
And just for the IRC people, the question was, why is do list better than MapC? And the answer is do list. One, it binds var to the beginning of the list, which like you also get in MapC with your function. I assume it passes the first. Yeah. And then MapC implies that you care about the return value, and do list implies that you're running this.
I was totally wrong.
Okay, whatever. That's fine. But I like do list because it's very, very clear what's going on. You're just looping over this list. What? Yeah. This is like the equivalent of like a for in loop. And yeah, that's everything interesting about this. So do you want to come up and talk about your setup? So do you want to like plug in HMI? If you have Chrome, you can connect to Jitsi Meet, and I can get your screen.
Maybe someone else can go while I do that.
Okay. Was your name Jeff in the back? Do you want to talk about use package just real quick? Yeah. And then let me bring up. Let me stop sharing the screen. Let me unplug this. I have to charge. Do you have HMI? That's an HMI port? It looks like eSATA. Oh, okay. Here we go. And what we'll do is we'll just. What is this? Sorry. Display port? Yo, Sukhan, do you have display port to HMI?
Yeah, actually,
It's
not HDMI.
Like in that.
That's not it.
Oh, that's also display port. Do you need the screen to talk about it?
Well, maybe you could just go to this page.
Yeah, we can just go to the site. I can plug this back in.
Unfortunately, I can't show my.
Yeah.
So you just go to this.
It's meet.git.si. Okay. First, let me share the screen. Wrong button. Escape. Entire screen.
So since we're talking about .emacs, like, who uses customize? Okay, so does your .emacs file consist of like 200 setq statements and then assorted packages and so?
Okay, my list code is larger than that, but I would say my list code to my customized code is about 40 lines.
Okay.
Do you want to? this.
So what this provides, this is a macro called use package to John Weagley. I just heard about it. Actually, I heard about it, I think, from looking at Sasha's page, which is I seem to end up there about once every 2 weeks. And what it provides for you is that you can write something like, you can see this use package got an it. So whatever package you use, you just declare it here, and then you set all the settings for it, and then it's all in one place. And what it does is it kind of lazy loads that package when you need it, and there's options that you can actually have it download the package if you don't have it, ensure it's on your machine, and so on. So, I mean, that's kind of the long and short of it. It just makes your .emacs file a hell of a lot easier to read. I mean, so that was.
Can you feel the question?
I could feel the question.
So I started using it recently, and it mostly works, but I have found very often that I will say use package whatever. Well, actually, I started using it and I said, oh, this is great. I'm going to convert all my existing configuration to this form.
Yeah.
And I mostly did, the stuff that was easy to do. And I have this suspicion that each use package form does nothing if the package is loaded at the time it's evaluated.
Mm.
And why I think this is that I set like use package icon, and presumably is in Emacs when you start it. And I put all my fancy customizations in there, and none of them seem to take.
Okay.
And so
I think I know why.
I
think I know
sort of
why.
worked around by sticking :demand in there, but that didn't feel like the right way to do it, because now what that means is if the package in question doesn't happen to be loaded, then that means that it's not lazy loading anymore. And it's sort of
I have an easy answer to your question, which I can't show because I can't plug in here. But what you need to do, I think, is not have package enabled at startup. So in other words, in my .emacs file, I have something that says require quote package, and the next statement is set queue package enable at startup nil. Okay, because you don't want, because Emacs, what it's going to do normally, it's just going to load all the packages and it set all those things. So you actually don't do that. You skip that. You say package initialize, then you go through and do all this use package stuff.
And do I then, at the very end, say something like, okay, now you can go, or do
No.
I just leave it?
No.
No.
I mean that was because I had the same problem, and it if you look at his site, it kind of says that. So okay, so I don't know. I could show you a really cool .emacs file, but we don't have a way to display a text. So sorry. Okay. Thank you for your time.
It's not like hosted anywhere? Or?
I know.
It just no, don't use that.
Oh, Jeff. Oh, Jeff, if you could put it in like a pasted and then put the link on IRC, people will be able to see it. But yeah, did anyone else?
It's water, so we'll try it.
Yeah, come on.
So this one, back when I maintained my own Emacs int before I outsourced it to some other people, I used, I had my whole init file wrapped up as an org file, which makes a nice way to document it as you go through, especially if you're binding a lot of custom keys that you're going to forget later. And I totally ripped this off of somebody else, and I think I remembered to credit them. Yeah, but so you can have a full org file with all of your Emacs, whatever Emacs customizations you want to have, and you just include them in source blocks inside. And if you have org Babel installed during your Emacs actual init process, it'll if you just pass your org file to org Babel, it'll strip all the Emacs Lisp code blocks you have in it out and put it into an Emacs, just a normal init .l file for you. So yeah, you can have great documentation using all the nice stuff that org gives you alongside it. So my main use for it was when I oh yeah, and the guy I need to credit for this, Noah Frederick. This is the person I totally ripped off most of this from.
Is this for like literate programming?
Ish, yeah. Like, yeah. So I have mine. Like I had when I was doing this, I used evil and evil leader, and so I tried to map all of my different modes keys under a leader one. So all of my modgate keys started with a G and then something else. So leader GS would bring up my modgate status buffer. And I must have hit M.
There's someone on. We can mute you. Mute. Oh wait, no, I muted myself. Okay, we're back.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So where are the other places that I did it? But yeah, that's the main version for doing it. And mostly I stopped doing this when I realized that most of my thing were just these long define evil motion state map or evil leader set key ones. And so I started using a Emacs package distro that had all those defined for me. So that was it for me. Cool.
Any questions about this? What does it look like when you're in Emacs? And you're looking at the
yeah, let me grab my computer.
Should I try that again? Can you mute me real quick?
Yeah. Actually, if you go to this, if you log in and then you press M, it'll mute you. Whoa. Turn that off. What was that?
I didn't have
So it says, can you go up to click share screen? Yeah. That. And then if I click on you. Yeah. You just bring up the thing that you want to. And do you want to stand up here? Share your screen with me, and then I'm showing your screen. Yeah. Why don't you stand up here? Okay, cool. Awesome. And then the mic is over here, so make sure you speak. Where? The mic is here, so make sure you speak loud enough.
Hello, I'm Dan. Raise your hand if you use KeyCord.l or have heard of it. It's like nobody. Cool, so hopefully people will be interested. Can everyone see it? Can I make it bigger? What do you think?
Bigger would be good.
Any bigger? Yes, no?
How did you do that?
Okay, this talk is about setting font size in Emacs.
Set font size.
Set font size. That's actually custom. If I can show it to you later. Big enough. So what KeyCord lets you do, KeyCord.l is just this package you can get right now. It lets you bind pressing two keys at the same time, like any two letter keys, to a command. And that works really well if the two keys you pick aren't two keys that you type when you're programming or writing, because otherwise it might think you're typing. If you're typing fast, it might think you hit two keys at the same time when you really hit them in sequence, and then it does some command you bound it to, and it's really annoying. It's very jarring. So I think that's kind of the reason it hasn't taken off, because there is this issue with it. Two things to fix that I'm going to talk about. One is this top line. This is a variable in the library KeyCord.l. I reduced the delay, and at least on my machine and the other machine I use at work, that's enough to get rid of that problem most of the time. It's very rare that I trip it. Maybe it's because I'm not the fastest typer in the world, but it works for me, so you can try it. The other thing is to use KeyCord map. So I wrote, and I can post this somewhere. I wrote a 4-line function, and it allows me to define key maps that are triggered off of the KeyCord. And what that lets you do is kind of hack around the issue with KeyCord, which is the common key sequences can trip commands when you don't want them to, by allowing you to pick an uncommon sequence like DK, that's easy to hit. That's just 2 middle fingers on home row. And then hit 1 key after that to trip the command. So, for example, if I want to do eval buffer DKR, it did it just now. It's already evaluated, but it worked. DK at the same time opens the mode map, and you can see that at the bottom. If you can see, there's a little bit of lag, but see it says KeyCord hyphen. So I hit just DK, and then the next key after that can be anything in this list. And I actually defined a few maps. One is for kind of just useful things I do a lot. One is specifically for maggot, and you can see that there now. So SL is to ring fingers. That's actually an issue. If you type slow really fast, or you're in E shell and you type LS, and you're really fast, you will hit this. But for my use case, my speed of typing and my settings at the top, which is the delay of, can't do that, 0.05, it works. So I can get into a lot of my maggot things very quickly from any buffer without having to do the pop-up, or do like, Control-C, Control-C, or whatever it is. And then there's the option to just use KeyCord normally, which is nothing really special. You can find this online. I did have trouble actually finding the KeyMap trick, which is why I'm showing it here. But for just using them straight, where when you hit the 2 keys, it executes the command directly, that's something you can always Google. It's really interesting. If you pick things like QW, unless you type QWERTY a lot, you're not going to hit it, but it's really useful to like open a few windows and kill them. And if I had a mic with a speaker, you could actually hear the difference really cool, like Control X O or Control X2, Control X3, then Control X0, Control X0. That's one way to do it. You can do VN, these two, and then quit. And it's just, it feels more ergonomic. It's actually a lot of fun once you have it set up and you get used to it, especially for the most common things. So that's KeyCord.
One question.
Sure.
I think you may have answered this already implicitly, but KeyCord doesn't care about the order in which you hit the keys. All it cares about is that you hit them close enough.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why LS in your E shell might trigger the SL KeyCord. And a few of them that I use basically all day. So if I open 2 buffers here, let's see. So SF and then JL are my favorites, and that's just to the lag is too much here, but I'm switching between buffers. I think the stock is like Control, comma, or something like that. It's fun to have it kind of mapped spatially. Same for under redo. I have DF and JK, so I can like do. Let's see if it's fast enough. A, B, C, D, E, F, space, enter, A, B, C. Just make some edits. And now undo, I'm just hitting D, F and D at the same time, and redo as J and K. It's just kind of spatially oriented to what I'm trying to do. And you should definitely play with it. Thanks.
Cool. Does anyone have like questions? Questions, comments about that?
And that's actually why I have DK as kind of a leader for most of the commands I do, because 2 middle fingers is so much better than pinky or all that crazy stuff.
This is the mic, so. Oh, okay. You sent it to my email or on IRC? Okay. Let me just pull it up. Org mode t-shirt. Oh. I'll post it to IRC. Okay. That was pretty cool, Dan. Thanks. Yo, can we get a round of applause for Dan?